Good morning, good morning. It's Monday morning pause, and I'm just checking I've got everything done and sorted. I think I have. Let's have a cup of tea. How is the start of your week going? So I wanted to start this pause off with taking a moment to pause, because I've just come out of a session actually and just been doing a recode, which is a technique that I do to support clearing the body, the mind, the unconscious programming, conditioning, the genetic values that have been locked in that don't serve us anymore, all of those in past lives, all of those things that can be cleared with this beautiful technique. And it's just a really nice way to start the day. So I'm just going to get you to take a moment just to come back into yourself, taking a moment to close your eyes and taking a nice deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth, and just relaxing. And just bringing all of your attention, energy and awareness back to yourself now. Coming back into your body. We can often find ourselves floating out in the ethers because we're in our mind, but just bring yourself back into your body. And feeling down into your feet and grounding. Feeling that beautiful connection to the earth. In this state is when you can really access all the information that you require to move forward in whatever dreams and desires that you have. So just take a moment to feel what it feels like to be in your body. Lean into the comfort and just bring some conscious awareness to the discomfort, anything that's feeling like there's a dis-ease anywhere. Just take note of that. No need to focus on it, just be aware of it. Going back into what is it that you'd like to create today? How would you like to show up? And when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes. So today I wanted to talk about the difference between acknowledgement and validation. The reason being is last week was my week on with clients, and I was talking to one of my clients and we were just talking about something that was going on for her at work and the conditions from her childhood and how they've been causing a little bit of challenge in regards to this project that's going on at work. And we talked about how she used to let other people take the acknowledgement, take the positive information from, or you know, when she had an idea, somebody else would say that it was theirs, even though it was hers in the first place, right? And she just used to let that happen. And I get that. If you're on here and you've had an idea and you've let someone else share it as if it's their idea, throw something in the chat. Throw a yes me in the chat, because I know that that was something that I used to do as well. Part of being not being seen, right, is wanting to be part of a collaboration, but also not wanting to be at the top of the collaboration and not being seen. So just allowing other people to take advantage and get the recognition themselves, right? And so we were having a discussion about where this comes from and why it happens, and we had a discussion about the difference between acknowledgement and validation. And what I did was I actually looked it up on as a dictionary thing, right? So acknowledgement in the dictionary, Oxford Dictionary, this one is acceptance of the truth or existence of something. So acknowledgement is acceptance of the truth or existence of something, whereas validation is the action of checking or proving the validity or accuracy of something. So action or of making or declaring something legal or officially acceptable, recognition or affirmation that a person or their feelings or opinions are valid or worthwhile. So we were discussing the two, right? And a lot of people, I'd like to say women, but maybe people, have this thing about not being seen because they want to stay humble, right? They don't want to be seen as having a big ego. And where I want to take this is that acknowledgement is something that even in my opinion, from what I've studied, and because I went through I love listening to words or looking at words and working out how they fit with me, how they sit in my energy field. And acknowledgement is something that everyone, it's an innate, natural experience for us to want to be acknowledged. Now, if you've had any religious background, history, information in your head anywhere, I have read the Bible myself personally, and I believe all have got a very similar truth in them, all different sacred texts, right? I read the Bible just to read it, to see what was in the book, because I was making judgments of the book without without reading it myself. So I came from a very different way of being when I was reading and perceiving it. And what I got from reading the Bible was that acknowledgement is something that even source energy, God, whatever your language may be for all that is source energy, has is truth, right? Acknowledgement is the truth of something. And even in the Bible, in the 10 Commandments, it says, love God above all else, right? So that's an acknowledgement of God. And what I feel that means is we can fall in love with food, we can fall in love with our dysfunctional patterns, right? Like emotional behaviors of, addictions, or wanting to do tarot cards or look at the pendulum, right? And or focus on something that's that you know, work can be too much for people. We're focusing too much on work, or someone else that's in your life that you love dearly, right? When we're focusing way too much on them and not our spiritual connection to our higher self, we're giving our energy and our power away to something outside of ourselves. Whether it be that person, whether it be a belief, whether it be an emotion, whether it be, you know, like something like a project or a object of some sort. When we give energy outside of ourselves, the power, that thing, that source, the power, we have become powerless to that. Whereas when we stay in true connection to our divine nature, to our, what I call superconscious energy, we are tapping into a source that is us, is already, we are an aspect of that energy. So we're not giving our power away to anything. You can actually, in a way, sometimes think that it's an external source to you, and so therefore you can give your power away that way. But acknowledgement is when you're acknowledging truth. And if you're at work, for example, and you come up with this great idea and somebody else takes that, they're getting validation rather than getting acknowledgement. And validation is when you're proving something to be right. Now, validation, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, come up with it by myself, right? Just from working out life in general, as I do, or as I did even, you know, as a younger woman, trying to work out who I was and how I belonged in the world. I understood validation to be something that the ego requires to prove that it exists and that it's worthy, that it's good enough, that it's perfect, that it belongs, all of those things, right? So when you need validation, that's when you're coming from an egoic point of view, when you're requiring someone to prove that you are valid, that you are good enough, that you're worthy of existing, right? Whereas acknowledgement is very different. Acknowledgement is you are here, you're seen, you're heard, you're worth standing up and speaking out. And acknowledgement is an internal process. It's the truth about something. It already is worthy because its very existence is worthwhile, because it's existing, right? You're existing. You are here, so you are worthy, you are valid, you are, good enough, you do belong, all of those things, because the very existence of you being here is a acknowledgement that is truth, right? Is the validation, really, is the proof, right? So I want you to really think about when you have really wanted acknowledgement and the difference. How does it feel when you want acknowledgement compared to when you want validation? And I think you'll find that often we're more wanting validation to prove that we exist and that we are good enough and all of those things. And it's more of a, in my opinion, is a lower vibration. Validation is a lower vibration. The need to prove that you're worthwhile. Whereas acknowledgement is an expansive energy. And sometimes acknowledgement needs to be stood up for our rights. empowered. Like, empowerment is something that sometimes has to push the energy, the boundaries, to stand in its strength, in its I want to say validation, right? In its proof of being, right? Because when you're here and you are living and experiencing yourself, and you're showing up and you're expressing your truth, then it's a natural occurrence, a natural flow backwards and forwards to have acknowledgement within that, right? Yes, that is truth. In all cultures, in all beliefs, in some way, there was a big bang. God said, let there be light. There was words spoken. He said it. Let there be light. And it was. The big bang happened, right? There was an explosion.